Hey, what's up, guys? This book, Robotech Art One. Uh, this is a book that came out right around the time. I think it was '86. I remember seeing this in Walden Books. Rest in peace. And this was, I remember, I was like, oh, I wanted it. It's like six back then. It was like $16. Nah, no way, kid. Uh, but this book is really. I mean, there's so much good art in it. It's essentially it's broken up into the cell art, right? Using it in the episode. It's an episode guide, right? It's just the cell arts of the three different series that made it up, right? And also a lot of the conceptual art is used, right? So most of this book, most of this book was taking stuff from what they call, was it the perfect collections, where all the pre-production stuff by the character designers is put in the book. It's showing like the pre-production of it. BTD had mentioned how the Japanese just they they're willing to, when they have a successful series, at least they used to, they would put out all the pre-production stuff in it, the behind the scenes stuff that was being developed. Very interesting, very inspirational. By the way, I don't know if they have those perfect collections anymore, but the opening of this is interesting. It introduces. I remember. Uh, I mean, you know me, Robotech. This was one of the best shows, not cartoons, shows that was ever on television. And it was funny too. And they talk about it. I remember in junior high school. I'm old, right? So they used to call it junior high, not middle school. They actually had people come to our school and hand out this. There was a Robotech convention in the city. They I don't know how they got permission to do that in the New York City public school system, but it was interesting looking at it. Of course, I didn't go, but it just goes to show you what they were trying to do. And there's Carl Mason. Oh, all the Macross fans are getting mad. Yeah, August 1985. Fucking hell of a planet. In so many other ways, is this like another planet? Okay, yeah. Uh, I say AD 2009. Right? It's crashes in 1999. So let me tell you about 2009. Obviously, the years have gone past us. The future is not the future we thought it would be. In a lot of ways, what did they think the future was going to be? Okay? The world was still going to be guided by everything that happened 70 years ago. Right? Always the war. But, in terms of the Japanese sci-fi military shows and anti-war shows, you have the shadow of that war in this as well. Just getting in there, you see all the characters. Minmay, it's so cute. I was younger than her. I think I don't know how old she's supposed to be. So. But and I keep bringing up the fact of Minmay. I didn't know she was supposed to be Chinese. Even with the name, I just thought it was like some strange name. Even with the costumes, I didn't realize she was Chinese. Oh, Roy, oh man, remember this? Man, this was like a shock. Anyway, you get into the Master Saga. I'm the guy that likes the Masters a lot. A lot of people don't. This guy was cool. Angelo was cool. Commander. This guy was real tragic. I'm trying to. This guy was cool. Of course, my favorite was her, Marie Crystal. Excuse me. Music, right? Always green-haired aliens. Always fall in love with the humans. And Bowie, I like Bowie. Bowie was cool. Anyway, I go to Mospeada. I mean, I've gone over Mospeada a lot. It's actually my favorite of the three series, for a number of reasons I've mentioned. How surreal it is, the situation that has occurred. In some ways, you could argue that the future was more like Mospeada in a lot of ways, just metaphorically speaking. I don't just mean there's more and more people like this now. Although Yellow was not like that. Yellow was a a man's man, but like I said, I've gone over this enough before. I'm talking about the book. It was really nice the way the episode guide using stills, right? The character designs, the pre-production stuff. You see all the there's some original art in there, but you can tell the difference. I mean, you can tell how Hiko Mikimoto's designs. Yeah, Minmay, and yeah, like, she's Chinese, you dummy. I don't know. But late fiance she hated Minmay. So Minmay actually is the Japanese stereotype that you see in other animes. Japanese stereotype of the petulant, very willful Chinese woman that you see. Like Ramna One Half also had that. It was kind of like the Japanese stereotypes of the other Asians. And Lin Kai was a cousin. Of course, that was something that was not unusual. Oh, Amelia, yeah, she's hot. Anyway, what's the point of going through all this? The real meat of this, the real thing that was educational about this book, which I did not buy. This book, actually, my oldest friend, BX, he had this. I remember he lent this to me in the late 80s, I believe. And then eventually, many years later, he gave it to me as a gift, This chapter here, this is really the meat of the chapter. This is essentially the history of anime up to the point of the 80s. Describing the whole concept of it coming out of manga, right? Cat's Eye. I think my late fiance, she had Chinese bootleg translations of these that you would get in Chinatown. Space Cobra. Remember Matthew Sweet? Remember that video, Girlfriend? Right? Remember? Actually discussed, the development of these shows, right? Tomorrow Joe, boxing. I mean, of course, the Japanese, they had sports manga and anime, boxing, right? Tomorrow Joe, with one of the best endings in the damn show. Kimbo, the White Lion. This is Osamu Tezuka, right? The guy that did Astro Boy. All this controversy now about how people are portrayed. Yeah, and the cool albums, right? Obviously, this was great, man. This bootleg fake live album is actually very entertaining. Now, getting into the gist of it, a lot of the problems I keep coming back to Macross. Right? I'm not gonna call it Macross. I'm gonna call it Macross. Right? I don't say Kiev. I say Kiev. Okay, so I'm not gonna say Macross. Obviously, Robotech is 3 different series. They talk about the development of Macross, right? Coming from the earlier, obviously, Space Cruiser Yamato, okay? A show which actually came out in 1974, but thanks to Star Wars, okay? Remember Star Wars? They made a film out of this failed TV series, and then it took off. Okay? Interesting to see that. And then, of course, Mobile Suit Gundam, which I've covered before, okay? You're leading up to what's going to become Macross. Now, you can argue that these series are even bigger than Macross was, but we're talking about the development of something that was going to lead to anime being a huge thing in the West. Right? Crusher Joe. They're essentially talking about, like, Shoji Kawamori, right? The guy who designed all the Mecha, and I'm talking about in the pre-production. Right? Look at this. I'm talking about the world building, the amount of care, the amount of thought, even into a chair that Kawamori did. Okay, not just the cool mechas, right? Not just the Veritex, but everything. Look at the amount of detail in there, just for one hallway. This is like, you can say it's autism taken to the extreme, but it's reflected in the product. It's reflected in the art. It's reflected in the final product, which is, amazing. Probably the best narrative storytelling that you ever had, in my opinion. Okay, next to like 19th century literature. Right, so Studio New, okay, which is the people that actually ended up owning the rights to Macross, okay, not Tatsunoko. That's why you have all the legal issues now, but the development of these guys, and I had no idea that they actually designed a lot of the Captain Harlock stuff, and also the robot shows, Raideen, Combattler V, Voltus 5,
uh, Zambot 3. Remember I covered that. So a lot of those robots, Deimos, right? Starbirds. I'm gonna cover that at some point. I actually have the movie of that. It's interesting showing the development of these guys did this, and then they went on to do the very realistic mechas. I mean, I remember even as a kid when I knew Japanese robots, Voltron, and I was always like, you know, I remember seeing weird toys in in Chinatown and little Chinese stores by me because there was already Chinese moving in where I was, and seeing these more realistic robots, like robots were like it's just a camera eye, right? You know, robots as realistic rather than like, you know, with a sword and a big shield, and that was the development of it going on. But this chapter really is a great primer, tracking the evolution of what led to Macross and these other ones. Eh? Right, remember, originally Macross was supposed to be something called Mega Road, and Minmay was supposed to be a Chinese girl that would serve food to the bridge crew that was all female. The captain was female. Obviously, it was sort of like a parody. It was meant to be a parody of like the very serious space operas, but then they made it serious because people actually wanted to put money into it. They didn't want something that was comedic, but you ended up with the nice little touches. Oh, Minmay. She's Chinese. I know. You're like, shut up already. It's just interesting seeing how it developed, you know. And of course, the other shows develop. Mosquito develops. Yellow. This originally was not supposed to be dressing up like a woman. It was just like a fantasy inspired character by what's his name, Yoshitaka Amano. But the producer said, I want this to be the singer, not the blonde biker girl. Huke was supposed to be a singer. But the production stuff is interesting. Okay? And they also mentioned Southern Cross was so unpopular. It was actually made better by being a Robotech. And look, there's the Golden and Gold, the Canon wannabes from Harmony Gold, the Egyptians. Actually, Dawn of the Mummy. They made Dawn of the Mummy. That was actually really good. Like zombie mummy film. I don't know why we're talking about that, but anyway, Tome of Dracula. I went over that too. So going through the past was interesting. The future did not turn. Oh, look at this. We want you to this. This was on the thing to join the Robotech fan club. Where is Schaumburg? I don't even know where in Illinois that is. So, and yeah, you can see the years have gone by. It's showing its age, but. Yeah, man, I still love Robotech. So I am a weeaboo, definitely, or otaku or whatever. Shit I've been through. Fucking fantasy world is more understandable to want a fantasy than this fucking world. But let's not be bitter. No. Thanks, BX. Always. Later.